Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to a new video on the channel. And today guys, here we are to do my AFL 2023 round 16 preview. And in today's video, I'm going to be previewing every game of round 16. It's a huge round coming up, and of course we're also going to be doing round 15 review, going through the Coleman medal race, going through my ladder after the round. We've got a lot of things to do. So anyway though, going to start off with the round 15 review, and last week was the last bye round. Yay, they're finally over, back to a full week of 9 games this week. Geelong defeated Melbourne by 15 on Thursday night. Brisbane defeated St Kilda by 28 on Friday night. Sydney Swans put up a score of 205 against West Coast 34, meaning they won by 171, absolutely smashed them. Freo defeated the Bombers in Perth. Collingwood got over the Crows in a thriller by 2, and then Gold Coast smashed Hawthorn by 67. To end off the round, Carlton North, Port Adelaide, Richmond. The Dogs and the Giants had their byes. Here is a quick little skim through of the ladder before we start. If you want to go ahead and pause it or slow it down, you can, to see what it's looking like. But round 16, here we go. Thursday night, Brisbane and Richmond at the Gabba. Huge contest, this is for sure. Both these two sides, I mean, you'd be suspecting from here Brisbane will be making the finals. And Richmond, well, I mean, look, it's 3rd versus 12th. Richmond need to get the win here, or at least need to be competitive, I feel, if they want to make finals. But now, getting to this part of the season, which I'll be running through the ladder a little bit later on, and perhaps some advantages some sides have. There's definitely one side outside the 8 which has a huge advantage going into the rest of the year, with Geelong due to their remaining games, GMHBA. So I think if Richmond want to make finals, that they have to win this game, and if they lose this game, Brisbane, there's a lot of separation which will start building, because you'd be assuming there that, I mean, Collingwood and Port Adelaide do both have tough games, but should those two sides both get the win this weekend, they'll be off well ahead, especially if Brisbane do lose. It'll bring them back to within it'll bring the swimming pack behind a bit closer to where they are at. So I feel like they absolutely have to win this game. I think they will on Thursday night as well. I think they get the job done by 15. It's not going to be easy defeating Richmond because they're a good side. I don't think it's going to be convincing. I don't think it's going to be great, but I think they're just going to have to just do what they have to do. Friday night game of the round, in my opinion, it is the grand final rematch of the SCG between Sydney and Geelong. It's 13th versus 9th a couple of weeks ago. This was looking to be a not-so-great clash. Now, though, things have really heated up. Last week, Sydney with a monstrous win over West Coast at the SCG. The Cats defeated Melbourne at GMHBA pretty comfortably in the end, and probably should have won the game by about 24, not 15, but they're going to have to do it without Jeremy Cameron. And I believe McCartan, I'm not sure which one it is, but one of the McCartan brothers is coming back into this Sydney side to help out their defence. It's just going to be, can they kick enough goals on the night, which it'll be down to Franklin might be returning. I'm not quite sure about him. But yeah, they've got a couple of other players up forward as well, which are going to have to get the job done up there. So this is going to be a really good game. This could go either way. It's 13th versus the 9th. There could easily be an upset here. I've gone the safe tip. I've said the Cats by 8, but look, I have a feeling this is going to be a really good game. First game Saturday is Adelaide versus North Melbourne. The Adelaide Oval is 8th versus 17th. Don't really need to stay on this game for too long, especially because we've got the 9 games this round. But look, the Crows are so good at the Adelaide Oval. They're not going to be beaten there, even though North are up and coming. And look, they've been so unlucky, North, not to get a win in the past, maybe 4 or 5 weeks. Since round 10 or 11, they should have won a game since then. And I thought the Giants at Blundstone Arena was their ticket to a win, but it wasn't. And they've been good, North. They've been pretty good in the past couple of weeks and really contended with some decent sides. Essendon, Collingwood, the Western Bulldogs, the Giants. They've contended with some really good sides, Sydney even. So yeah, they've been very unlucky. They're not going to get the win here versus Adelaide. Adelaide will be too strong and beat them comfortably by 44 points at the Adelaide Oval. But look, that win is going to have to come soon for North, because I reckon they deserve it. Now, the second Saturday afternoon game is between the Western Bulldogs and Fremantle at Marvel Stadium. This is a big game as well. Huge game in terms of the race for finals. It is going to be absolutely massive, this one. And, well, the Dogs, look, they did beat North a couple of weeks ago, but aside from that, though, I've been pretty disappointed with them in the past couple of weeks. Round 11, didn't beat the Suns. Round 12, didn't beat the Cats. Round 13, didn't beat the Power. Round 14, obviously beat North. But look, at the moment, that's not really going to cut it, beating North, even though North are on the rise, as I said. But yeah, apart from that North win, which wasn't even that great, they've been, their last, month and a bit has been quite disappointing. They could be in the top 4 right now, and they probably should be in the top 4, especially with all those winnable games they had. But no, they're instead sitting in 7th, and their spot in the 8th is looking vulnerable. And this week, if Freo get the upset, which they are all the chance to, it would really disrupt the 8 and potentially see the Dogs fall out of the 8, and Liam Jones going down with injuries, no helps. This is going to be a really good game. It's 7th versus 11th. I think the Dogs do get the job done by 15, but I could see Freo winning this game. I reckon it'll be a lot closer than what people think. The Saturday twilight game is between Gold Coast and Collingwood at Heritage Bank Stadium. It's 10th versus 1st. Huge contest, this one. Absolutely massive contest. The winner again is just going to be huge. Because if Collingwood lose and Port win, Port go top. If Collingwood win, Port lose, Collingwood stay top, but get a little bit of separation, a little bit of breathing space. And at the moment, even though Collingwood and Port Adelaide do sit in a really good position, but again, though, there is teams which will be on their back should they drop a game, especially if Brisbane do get the job done. So there's endless possibilities. But if the Suns win this game, there's a very decent chance they can get into finals. They need to win a couple of these 50-50 games. This one against Collingwood is kind of a must-win if they want to make finals, in all honesty, because otherwise then it turns to some away clashes against some tough sides away from home. So it's not going to be easy for them. Look, I reckon it's going to be a really good game. I think the Suns are going to be right around the contest. Heritage Bank Stadium, they are a decent side up there. Definitely better at home than they are away, like most sides. But look, I think Collingwood is just going to be a little bit too strong, win by 10 points, but I reckon this will be a cracking game. Essendon versus Port Adelaide is a Saturday night game. One Saturday night game this round is Essendon and Port Adelaide, the MCG. This is another huge game. It's 6th versus 2nd, so it should be another really good game. Port Adelaide, the MCG, aren't the greatest of sides, and boy, this is going to be a good contest, and I can just tell it. So, yeah, 6th versus 2nd, as I said. Huge game for both these two clubs. If Essendon win, you'd probably think that they should be able to make finals from here. However, if they drop the game, it does just allow that pack forming below them to have another nice little attack. And if Port Adelaide win, which they would be wanting to, it will keep them in that top 2 and try and go further ahead, which is what they want to do. Because as an interstate side, you want to get a home qualifying final, and should you win that, which you're a decent chance to, then you get a home prelim, which is almost a ticket straight to the grand final. So, huge game this one. I think Port Adelaide win a thriller by 5 points, but I think it'll be a really good game. And by the way, it is also a 50-50 game, so this one could definitely be going either way, and I could see Essendon or Port Adelaide winning. Sunday's footy action kicks off at the MCG with Hawthorn taking on Carlton. Huge game, this one. It is a big Victorian blockbuster match, and Hawthorn last week were disappointing, and you'll be expecting a response, and I reckon we'll get a response in some way from the Hawks. I think they'll be competitive enough. It's 16th versus 15th, so it's still a pretty big game, especially because, yeah, it's a huge Victorian battle. Now, look, this is another 50-50 game. Hawthorn last week were disappointing, and it's kind of helped me lean into this tip. But, look, and Carlton came off the bye, which does suggest they'll probably lose due to that stat, but no, I reckon Carlton will be a team which will, overturn that trend, and I think they'll get a nice win by 31 points. I think Hawthorn will hang around for 3 quarters and just die off in the last. Without James Sicily in their back line and Colonel and Mackay up forward, it does leave some problems. So that's probably the couple of key factors which have helped me tip Carlton. If not for any of those 3 factors, I probably would have been thinking, yeah, Hawthorn are a chance, but no, I think Carlton will just be a little bit too good here. But look, 31 points is probably too big of a margin. But look, this is an interesting one in terms of who will win and the margin. Because, yeah, it's a fascinating game, this one for sure. Now, Melbourne the Giants is the Channel 7 Sunday game at TIO Traeger Park in Alice Springs. Now, this one's got a bit of interestingness about it as well. The Demons have been failing to score in the past couple of weeks, and the Giants, they've been able to score. So this is going to be a really good game as well now. Giants coming off the bye as well, and it's no easy feat playing Melbourne, who are a very good defensive side. So I wouldn't be surprised if we were to see a game where both sides score 70 or a really high-scoring game. Could be either or. It'll be interesting to see, but Melbourne's defence is quite good, so I reckon we might be able to get a low-scoring game here at TIO Traeger Park. Now, it's 4th versus 14th, but keep in mind these 14th place Giants have been competitive all year round and haven't gone down by massive margins this year. So I don't think it'll be the case where Melbourne blow them out, especially due to their scoring issues. Now, this is a huge game. The Giants, they want to keep their slim finals chances alive. I think they're going to go down by 23 points to the Demons. Just think the D's will be a little bit too good. But yeah, I think the Giants will be happy to hang around for most of this one. Final game of the round is West Coast versus St Kilda in Perth. Not going to hang on this game for too long because, yeah, we've got a couple of other things to do in this video and then wrap it up. But it's 18th versus 5th. It's not an easy place to go and play Optus Stadium. I don't think it'll be a 100 plus point smashing. It could easily be that, depending on what we get from West Coast. Especially like due to the travel in Perth and stuff can take 30 points off you. But I do still feel like St Kilda will win this game very comfortably indeed by 66 points and just get a nice win and a bit of percentage back on the board for them. But anyway though, my tips this round: Brisbane by 15, Geelong by 8, Adelaide by 44, the Dogs by 15, Collingwood by 10, Port Adelaide by 5, Carlton by 31, Melbourne by 23, and St Kilda by 66. Now, this round as well does loom as an interesting one. It could be a good round for tipping or it could be a bad one. We've got some really good games here. Alright, so here's my predicted ladder after round 16. Now, we've got Collingwood and Port Adelaide off and away at the top. We've got Brisbane comfortably in at third before Melbourne, a game clear in fourth. And then we've got the Saints and the Dogs getting some much-needed wins in fifth and sixth. Got the Crows in seventh, the Cats in eighth, who do have that significant GMHBA home advantage, playing a fair majority of their games there throughout the rest of the year. So I think they probably will go into finals. Essendon being the unlucky one pushed out this round into ninth. Gold Coast in 10th, Freo in 11th, also equal with Gold Coast. Richmond, Carlton, Sydney, GWS with all their seasons on the line in 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th. Hawthorn in 16th, North in 17th and West Coast in 18th. Alright, here are the stats. We've got James Sicily has been overtaken by Luke Ryan. Luke Ryan is now leading Mark Getter. Nick Dacos had the most disposals for the year. This thing is not working at the moment. Tim Taranto has got the most AFL fantasy. And now to the thing which most of you guys are here for if you're here for the awards section. Taylor Walker is currently in front of the Coleman medal. Who would have thought that Taylor Walker would be in front? But he is in front at the moment. And probably a good chance to win it due to Curnow being out of form recently, Cameron not playing for a couple of weeks, and then Nick Lark is probably another player which is a viable chance to win it in fourth. But I think it is probably down to these four now as to who gets it this year. But look, Taylor Walker, Charlie Curnow, Jeremy Cameron, Nick Lark, I reckon either of those four would be worth and deserving of the Coleman medal. Huge round of footy coming up. It should be great. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please do make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you guys in the next video on the channel. Thank you guys so much. Bye everyone. Flame Footy out.